to Joe Biden. The scrappy kid from Scranton, who became Delaware's favorite son. You were the first decision I made as a nominee, and it was the best. Not just because you have been a great vice president, but because in the bargain I gained a brother. And we love you and Jill like family, and your friendship has been one of the great joys of our lives.
That was a true Democrat, the 44th President of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama, trying to acknowledge the then Deputy President Joe Biden. Barely 2 days ago, Uhuru gave his 7-minute maiden speech, and in his entire speech, he failed to acknowledge his successor, the President-elect William Samoei Ruto. Just take a bite of his maiden speech before we dissect this matter at hand.
The second thing we must place under scrutiny is whether the truth given by institutions has correspondence. That is, do the truths given by our institutions correspond with what is observable by the citizen? True beliefs and true judgments must correspond to the actual state of affairs. But do our constitutional institutions meet this threshold? While we must appreciate these institutions, we must also hold them to account at every juncture. And their truth has to be consistent and coherent. This is the only way we will build our democracy. I want to take this opportunity to thank every single Kenyan for holding a peaceful election. And for this, I want to thank God, and I want to thank our political parties, but I also want to thank every single individual Kenyan for bringing us thus far. I want to wish well all who have won as they guide our country into the future. And I thank you all for the opportunity to serve, and I say, may God bless you all, and may God bless this great Republic of Kenya. Asante.
In his entire speech, the outgoing President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, looks very tired, worn out, depressed, and it's like he couldn't come to terms with what had just happened, considering the fact that his preferred candidate, Raila Amolo Odinga, had failed to clinch the country's top seat. He also looks like he couldn't come to terms with the reality on the ground that he was now going to hand over the instruments of power to the guy he had sidelined for several years. He's been talking of smooth transition, but again, I tend to think of it in a totally different angle. What kind of smooth transition is he really meaning if up to this juncture he's not congratulated the incumbent president considering the fact that he had his own preferred candidate. I tend to think of it this way. I'm a referee. I'm supposed to officiate between two teams. And that aside, I've shown interest or be partisan to one of the teams. Then when push comes to shove, the team I was interested in loses to the other. I, being the officiating staff, will I really be able to offer an award to the team that I had been opposing? It will really be very, very difficult, considering that I had a team that I had shown interest in. I do think that I'll have to introduce a third party so that can offer the award to the team that will have won. Because in real sense, in such a scenario, I find myself in between a hard place and a rock, of which it becomes very difficult, and seamlessly guilty will haunt me to the end. So I have to introduce a third party to officiate the whole process to the end. And I do think that is exactly what the outgoing president will do, because chances of him attending the inaugural ceremony of the fifth president, of the incoming president, are totally very low. And it is in that speech that I've learned the two guys must have and are still having personal differences outside politics. If at all he fails to attend the inauguration ceremony of Ruto the Fifth, then that automatically tells me that he will be the first outgoing president in this Kenyan Republic not to attend the inauguration ceremony of an incoming president, considering the fact that Moi had no one to hand over the instrument of power to him, simply because the predecessor, he being Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, had died. But now we are in a situation where the outgoing president is still alive, but due to his or their own personal differences, he can't attend to hand over the instrument of power. I think if that will be the case, it will create a totally bad image to himself, and he could bear a lot of consequences in the international scene, and it could also come with a lot of ramification of his stature in the international scene. Kindly please, if you're watching me for the very first time, kindly please just head on to YouTube, search for Mohamed Sudi. I'll be the first right person to pop up. If politics, social and economic matters based on factual arguments are your great areas of great interest, kindly please considering hitting the subscribe button, so that each and every time that I upload a new video, it will automatically reflect on your notification panel. And if you've been watching my videos and you have not subscribed, kindly please consider subscribing so that you can support my content. Thank you, and may God bless you.